Earnestly podcast. It's the first student game report of the 2023 NFL season. God, I'm so excited for this, man. Kyle Nash, let's go. 10 years, baby. Let's go. Is that Coke Zero?
It is. That's Cherry Coke Zero, by the way.
I know. By the way, I tried that last week. I think I told you that. Good stuff, man. Although I told my wife about that, and she got mad at me because she's like, no sodas. I don't care. None. Zero.
Uh-huh. She'll come around. Anyways, but I tried to tell you, but you wouldn't listen. A, B, you know who wins with us having done this for 10 years, Earnest Christian? America.
That's right, baby. That's right. So here's what we're going to do. Yeah. We did this already on this podcast with me, myself, and Zach about a month ago.
But now it will not be under the influence of illicit drugs. So
what we'll do here, we'll do overrunners on this one again. But we're gonna do. I already gave my thoughts on each team already back in August. Check it out the couple weeks back episode season preview. What we're gonna do here, we'll have Kyle weigh in.
Brave to preview in August, by the way. I mean, speaking of previews, it was South preview just dropped today on the 3-point conversion. Bing.
So to be fair, too, it was close. It was actually closer to the last game of the preseason anyway, so we knew what was going on with the rosters or what. So something really didn't change,
except for Jonathan Taylor. I'm glad as like I said, the AFC South preview dropped today that he's not a member of another team yet. So I have that going for me.
Sure. But it's still not like Colts will still be good. The Colts will be bad anyway. With him, so it doesn't matter. It ain't gonna matter. So we're gonna go quote unquote rapid fire on each team. And let Kyle give his take on each team coming into the year. So as always, first team on the list, Arizona Cardinals, go. The number is 4.5.
I don't need the damn number. Under. And listen, joking with 4.5, I think I have to take the under because last I looked, I have them at 3. I'm going to have to go back and check as I prepared for the Student of the Game and Huddle Up Podcast Inc. simulcast. That's Wednesday night here as we're recording on Monday. That is Wednesday night the 6th. Or Tuesday, not Monday. Stupid Labor Day be throwing me off and everything. But the night of the 6th at 8:40 p.m. is when it'll begin. Because I needed some time before you jabronis come in at 8:50 to react to this weekend in college football on my show. But at any rate, I'm gonna say it's 4.5. The most they're gonna win is 4. I'll take that under, especially if they're
that much
trying to tank.
I said on the show on that episode I was talking about that this is an easy candidate for 0-17. That's what's gonna happen. But if I'm picking a team that can go 0-17.
As hard as it is to win NFL games, it's damn tough to go 0-17, but I would not rule out the franchise known as the Arizona Cardinals to do it. You got a fair point there, EJ Christian.
Kyler Murray, might as well just, don't play him this year, right?
They should put him on the shelf if this is truly an air quotes tank job. I think the biggest problem is Kyler Murray's contract. The argument could be made that makes him essentially untradeable for all the talk about Caleb Williams and all that, but that's a whole other question.
Right. All right. Your favorite team in the world, the Atlanta Falcons, 7.5.
Under. People believe in Desmond Ridder, and I don't get that. Actually, you know what? They don't believe in Desmond Ridder. They believe in Bijan Robinson. Oh, but Kyle, they were the 3rd highest team rushing last year. Listen, I get that their defense is beefed up and all that, but expect a lot of turnovers too from a rookie running back who is much more than just a running back. And Desmond Ridder, listen, I've watched this guy. He is not a great thrower of the football. Your best defense is to try to do like they had with the DVD backfield back in the day with Dunn, Vick, and Dockett. Okay. And I just don't think they got that sort of presence in that group. I mean,
I do think though their schedule may actually create some space to get close to 7 wins though.
Close,
but I have the under 2 though.
Yeah, it's if it were under 6.5, you'd hear some but no, 7 is the max. It's at 7.5. I'm under.
All right, Baltimore Ravens 8.5 wins.
Ooh,
although I will say I think this number might increase by a game or so in the last week or so. So
well,
even 9.5.
Said 8.5 here on this show, so I'm saying an over right now.
9.5 still over, right?
Yeah, I mean, I did say 10, I believe, for them.
Okay.
So,
all right. Buffalo Bills 10.5.
Over. I know that the hot thing to do is to say, well, it's the AFC, they're going to miss the playoffs. Let's not go that far. I do have them winning 10 or 11, I forget, but yeah.
So here's the thing with Buffalo. This was the team I had the hardest predicting.
And it's not an easy thing, man. I get you.
Because their schedule is brutal. I think they have the hardest schedule in the league this year on paper.
Completely fair argument.
And I went under because of the optics. But again, if they go 12-5, 11-6 this year, I'm not surprised either. So it depends on the Miami swings, the Jets swings, the Pats, if they're frisky up this year. You got a lot going on there.
Had to fit frisky in there, didn't you?
You're damn right. I think my problem with Buffalo this year is that it's not that they're a bad team. I don't think they got better this offseason. I think everybody else around them did. So the question is going to be, can you...
The problem with the better that you refer to is there's a ceiling and floor to what could happen, injuries and all of that.
Right.
Completely unpredictable in that division, which we'll talk about these other teams sooner or later here. But yeah, I think that's a fine take from you with Buffalo.
Right. All right, Carolina Panthers 7.5 wins.
7.5. Ooh, if it were just an ounce lower, I might have surprised you with an over here. But yeah, no, I'm under. I think I have them at 7. I'd have to double check. But I have them at 7 in my predictions as well. For the previews I've done throughout the past couple months here on the Student of the Game podcast. Bing!
So I've seen writers actually make the case to them win the South.
And it's because the South is crap. I understand that. They're not going to because these writers apparently like to take giant dumps on Derek Carr for reasons I cannot possibly fathom.
That's weird.
But yeah, understand that this is going to be the best defense that Derek Carr has had in support for some time. It's going to be a very interesting concept. But you want to use the term frisky, you're supposed to use it in association with cats, and your Carolina Panthers, EJ Christian, are pretty frisky.
Let's move on. Chicago Bears 7.5 wins.
Under. But man, listen, it's not for lack of trying. I think I have them at 6 or 7 myself. And they need one more. They need one more draft, one more off season to really get it locked in.
This is definitely going to be an ascending team, though. They won't be as bad as they were last year, 3-14. That's for
sure. Yeah. And listen, credit to both sides with what they did with the draft picks, them and the Panthers. People are like, oh my God, they gave away so much. Well, yeah, but again, this day and age, a franchise quarterback costs that,
Yeah.
And if you have a quarterback that you're paying low but doesn't necessarily do great, or in some cases even play, that doesn't mean the team necessarily did anything wrong, so long as they admit the mistake early. But I'm sure we'll get into it. I'm sure I will have to lance that boil later on in this show.
More on that later.
More on that later.
Cincinnati Bengals 11.5 wins.
God. I'm going to say under because I have them at 11. That division is way too strong for anybody to leap off the charts with a 12-win season.
I'm with you on that one. Cleveland Browns 8.5 wins.
Under. It's not, and keep in mind, I'm the problem here. And I know I had some people cheesed off after my AFC North preview on the Student of the Game. Bing! But even my guy, L.A. Broadus, understood where I was coming from. He jumped on from the Brownstown USA podcast and a good friend of this show and mine, of course. I'm sure we can get there. But I don't believe in Deshaun Watson being able to embrace the role of the villain. Other people apparently do, and that's cool. If you think he can play with that, then I am going to be severely wrong. But I don't know what it is. Maybe I am affected by his first times taking a field after the allegations, such as they were in great volume.
Yeah, of course.
I was in TIAA Bank Stadium. Well, now it's EverBank, but then it was still TIAA, to watch Duval boo him as he was coming onto the field. And the presence in that stadium was there. So, we'll see. I don't think it's any of his physical attributes. I don't think it's his football talent. I think it's his mental strength that will be challenged. And I don't know that he delivers on those goods.
Yeah. All right. Dallas Cowboys, 9.5 wins.
Over. And you know, I'm somebody who thinks that the Cowboys are going to be good, but they're not going to be good as some other people are. I mean, this whole Cowboys to the Super Bowl thing, history has not been kind to the Cowboys. You're hoping that the dysfunction for a certain red and gold wearing team that hasn't been nice to you in the playoffs historically, more on that later, is not in the playoffs to supplant you again. But I can't. They're going to make a great appearance if the play calling is this year what it should have been last year. Maybe all of that happens, but I am not on that train yet. They do, however, get more than 9 wins.
Right. Denver Broncos, 8.5 wins. That's tough, right?
That's a damn good number. Whoever set that number is on track. I don't remember if I have them at 8 or 9, so I have to look it up. I don't have my feet open. But I'll say today I'm going to say under. Just because the issue is trying to get wins off of Patrick Mahomes II and Justin Herbert in your division. That could be 4 games burnt through no fault of the teams. But they're gonna improve.
Yeah. Yeah, last year's disaster can nothing but
right. I mean, the bar's nice and high. You know, Ray Charles can see why there's hopes for some improvement.
We'll say here though that this is a legacy year for Russell Wilson.
I don't agree with that at all.
You don't agree with that?
No,
really?
It's really hard for me to talk about legacy years when you're a guy who's in the twilight of your career trying to get a few extra years in.
Wait, you think he's at twilight right now? I think he's still in his relative, like maybe the end of his peak.
Well, I'll put it this way, buddy. The end of his peak. That's kind of twilight, is it not?
You can still get a couple of years out of your peak after.
Well, I'll put it this way. If the Broncos don't do particularly well, I'm pretty sure he's going to be done.
Yeah.
And you've made the point on this, your own show, EJ Christian, about going home to Sierra makes a man think about what he's doing.
Hey, I'll go to Sierra. Oops.
Your wife would film it, whatever. Anyway,
smart loading. Detroit Lions 9.5.
You weren't ready for that one, were you?
No.
What was the number again, EJ?
Detroit Lions 9.5.
Oh God. I think technically I have to say over because I have them. I think I have them at 10. I'd have to double check.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're betting, bet under. The value is too good.
See, I said it on the last episode. I did that. Like, they feel overvalued. Like, to me, it's more about trusting the Lions. You're trusting the Lions.
You shouldn't trust anybody in that division right now.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying they won't. I hope they get over.
I have them. I think I have them winning. No. I do have I have them winning the division by a single game with 9 wins.
We are fans of Man Campbell in this podcast. We've been doing this for years now.
Man Campbell's
going back to Miami.
Yeah.
So,
coach where he took over and Man Campbell. Oh boy.
Yeah. Come on now. Legacy of this podcast. Come on now. Green Bay Packers, 7.5 wins.
7.5 under.
Yeah. A lot of folks are.
I don't get it.
Okay.
I know. I don't love what they're saying about Jordan. I'm happy to be surprised, but let's just say he'll need an effort, Herculean style, perhaps Jordan-esque, if you reference a basketball one.
Tongue out. Yep.
doing all the puns today.
Oh yeah, we're welcome alone.
Full bad jokes, EJ Christian.
First SOTG report of the year, man. We were off and running, brother. All right, Houston Texans, 5.5 wins.
Over. And listen, here's what I get. Just this morning, as my AFC South preview drops, people are losing their minds that I have over on that. Like, what do you mean the Texans have this many? Guys, people are going to sleep on the Texans. The fact all of you are saying under is proof someone's going to make that mistake, not take the Texans seriously, and all that quarterback room has to do at that point is manage the football game.
Here's what I'll say to help your argument, even though I said under on this. But here's your argument to boost your over. They played NFC South this year and their own division. So if they can go 3-1 in NFC South this year, for example.
You're telling me.
And pluck out 2 wins in their own division alone.
Exactly. And by the way, here's where the Titans fans are really pissed. I think I have them splitting with the Texans this year.
Whoa. That wouldn't surprise me. They did it when the year the Titans actually did well. So
wants to talk about it.
Yeah, I know. Indianapolis Colts 6.5 wins.
Under. This team is in so much disarray with or without Jonathan Taylor. Shaq Leonard might be back. Their O-line may be decent, but Richardson's going to do good things, and he's also going to make mistakes.
I also glad you mentioned him because I think of all the rookie quarterbacks, he's the one I'm most intrigued by.
As you should be. I would put Bryce Young on that list, but I just don't think he's going to give you a full 17 games. The other reason why I took the under for the Panthers as well.
Correct. Oh, your boys, the Jacksonville Jaguars, 9.5 wins.
First of all, they're not my boys. I cover them. Second, whoever set that at 9.5 is an obvious Titan fan / hater ass. Are you kidding me? You're trying to tell me with the AFC South on the schedule, the game against the Broncos and the game against the Raiders, I just dropped 6 wins for you right there. And you're going to tell me that 9.5 is your tick? You really think they're going to do that bad in their division? Put the pipe down. You done screwed up.
They play NFC. They play NFC South. They play their own division. Easy.
This might even be the one I bet hardest on, which as an over, which is typically not how that works. But yeah, no. Over on 9.5.
I've been saying that. I said that's the easiest over of the entire 32 teams on this list. Them and Dallas, the 2 teams.
What you're doing is you're betting against that offensive line with the injuries, which is fair, and you're betting that Trevor Lawrence, you're betting that T-Law goes down, basically. That's the only thing I think that disrupts this.
We did a podcast, the whole crew on this show back in July. You were doing the top quarterbacks, order, rankings. Bing, right. Remember, you guys came down on me when I told you about the Jaguars being possible sneaky number 1 seed contender.
I don't know about number 1 seed though, but you're going. Hey,
but the things you're saying is why I made that argument, because the schedule plays out for them well. Obviously, they got to do their job. They got to win those big games on top of it to separate themselves. But the things you said there is exactly why I said what I said over the summer.
Here's your other problem. Peter King agrees with you, and he hits the pipe pretty hard.
Peter King had the Saints in the playoffs, the number 1 seed last year. Remember that? NFC?
Correct. And that was nuts too.
We had fun with that. We had fun with that one last year, didn't we?
I'm gonna have fun. Like he and of course my guy John Shipley of the Jaguar Report, for which I write. Bing. He had 13 wins on my show too, and I just can't get that optimistic.
Yeah. The champs, Kansas City Chiefs, 11.5.
Over. It's going to be 12 or 13 unless Patrick LaVon Mahomes the second gets injured, and then it's still a maybe, right? So over.
Did you see Nick Wright's case for 19-0, 20-0, whatever the hell it is?
So
20-0, yeah, 20-0.
It's not that it's a bad case. This trash that they can go 8 games without Chris Henry as a lock. Nah. Listen, you know what? I'll tell you this. Okay, as somebody who covers the Jacksonville Jaguars, you want to know what happens if you take Chris Henry out? You have these 2 teams basically playing each other like it's almost a mirror match. Almost. Granted, there's no way the receiver core for the Chiefs is that good. But listen, I even have a video out there on Hilarity by Default's YouTube channel. Bing! About the king of the check down and Alex Smith back in the days, right? Where Alex Smith was still that quarterback, got the Chiefs to the playoffs with a core of receivers that had 0 touchdowns on the year. J.J. Watt had more touchdowns that season in 2012 than the entire Chiefs receiver core. Okay? I'm saying this is that same kind of group where that could happen again. It probably won't, but it could.
Here's why his take is silly, though. Last year, the Colts won 4-12-1.
Yep.
Won those 4 wins against the Chiefs. The end.
I mean,
just saying, you're bound to lose 1 game or 2 games against a team that you shouldn't lose to. The end.
Like the Texans, for example. Not that I'm saying the Texans will beat the Chiefs, but
almost did last year, though. Went to overtime. That's what I'm saying, though. And you're in the hunted now, so come on, get some respect to all the teams in the league. Come on,
been the hunted for some time.
True, but still,
I don't think that's a factor here.
But when you're
into the pie, it's Kansas City's barbecue. That's kind of boiled into the sauce.
True, but when you're the defending champions, though, it's an extra layer of like, okay, the champs are coming down. Okay, I mean, now we gotta.
Sure, but I don't know.
I get what you're saying, though. All right, let's stay in the division. LA Chargers 9.5 wins.
Over, but it's a slight over. There you go, EJ Christian.
Slight. Good.
I'm not brave enough to say the Chargers are a 9-win team. Because I think I have them at 10 or 11 anyway.
Yeah, sounds right.
Yeah, I don't think they don't fall all the way back to 9. They don't fall all the way back to 9.
Dude, if they don't win any more, if they don't win 10 more games this year, Staley is gone.
Oh, I know you've been calling that for some time.
Yeah,
I mean, but I think. Listen, I think the Kellen Moore acquisition may help.
I think so too. All right, LA Rams, who just won a Super Bowl like a year ago.
2 details.
7.5. Well, yeah, true. You know what I mean?
7.5. God.
This is tough,
you have
actually.
any idea how hard that is? It's how much Matthew Stafford are we getting and how much Cooper Kupp are we getting, which Cooper Kupp's already got some sort of an injury.
He's out week 1.
Yeah, exactly. That offensive line hasn't been adequately repaired, so I will say under, but I can make a case for them winning 7 games.
Yeah, of course. All right, Vegas Raiders, 7.5 wins.
Under. This is going to be an absolute bleep show. They have no defense.
Totally agree.
Jimmy G, listen, as a Niners guy, as a dude that is a Jimmy G guy, I eventually signed off on the Jimmy G criticism, not the hate, the criticism, because of one key thing, EJ Christian. You can't help the club in the tub. Boom.
I think this is going to be one of the worst teams in football this year, personally.
They're not Cardinals bad, but they'll be bad.
Yeah, it'll be Cardinals, them, and the Colts. Miami Dolphins, 9.5 wins.
That's literally the hardest one in the mix.
Because of one guy.
Yeah. And even still, like Sky Moore, not Sky Moore, Skylar Thompson isn't a horrible backup, right?
Well, third string.
Yeah. Well,
Mike White's back up.
I keep forgetting Mike White is there. Yeah. I mean, and there's enough to fly the plane if he's out for a couple games and maybe win, depending on whom they are battling. Yeah. Thank you for the reminder on Mike White. I'm still going to say I think I have them winning 9. I'd have to look. It's 9 or 10. So this is why this is hard. I like the value on 9. And I'm going to say that Tua Tagovailoa is the Kevin Durant of the NFL in that to expect him to get injured has become hip, so.
Yeah. All right, Minnesota Vikings, 8.5 wins.
Over. I think there's enough easy to where they could limp their way into the playoffs and the North Division title. I technically picked them at 8 wins, so I'm going against my own prediction here, but man, the North is trash. The power vacuum there is just awful. No disrespect to my guy, Man Campbell, but yeah.
And they play NFC South this year, too, on top of that. So they should be able to get 8 wins.
Yeah, exactly. It's the only reason why anybody is going to flirt with double digits. Again, I don't have anybody getting double digits in that division, but flirt with it.
Right. All right, New England Patriots, 7.5 wins.
Under. And listen, this is just because they don't have enough weapons. Oh, Bill's a defensive coach. That's super. You got to score the goddamn football at some point. And no.
Zach DeGenerate said on a preview podcast that the Patriots will be the greatest 5-12 team in history of football because they'll be competitive as hell, but that schedule is just too damn tough.
Not a horrible take. Not a horrible take at all.
Yeah. New Orleans Saints, 9.5 wins.
Over. Their division's that easy. They have the best quarterback they've had since Drew Brees. Their defense is better than it's been since that Super Bowl victory, which then was basically more an anomaly of numbers and strategy than it was the players. They have Pro Bowlers at all 3 levels on defense. And let's just put it this way. 6 games in the NFC South and 1 against the Colts and Texans.
I'll go further than that. They could be, and I'm not saying it's going to happen. They could be a sneaky, like the Jaguars, some of the number 1 seed in the AFC. This team could be a sneaky AFC number 1 seed NFC team, and here's why: they play the AFC South.
Yeah.
They play the NFC North.
Right.
And their own division. So if you're telling me they go, so let's go worst case scenario, they go 5-1 in their own division. That's 5 wins there. Right. Let's say in AFC South they go 3-1.
Yeah, we're not going to go 3-1.
Okay, 2-2 would be the bottom of that. So that's still 7 wins there. NFC North.
If they win 2 of those, they're already at 9. I get it.
Then you just find a couple wins here and there. I think
I forget what their bonus games are, but I believe those.
The Giants is one of those bonus games.
Okay, they're going to win that game. It's a good thing there's not a Giants fan on this show. They'd be really
right. We'd be crazy. Why, shut up. I'm not, no. It won't happen, but it wouldn't shock me if they're flirting for that number 1 spot or these top 2 seeds in the.
There's going to need to be some catastrophe on some other teams for that.
Of course, but
you
again,
you need the Niners, Eagles, and Cowboys to all have a significant disaster for that to occur.
Right.
And the reason why I say, I know that the Cowboys and Eagles are in the same division. Like, if the Eagles face
one or the other,
the Cowboys will still supplant.
Right.
The Saints.
One the other was saying, yeah, I agree with you.
In your defense, you have 2 divisions that aren't going to be in their way.
Right.
That I get.
Speaking of New York Giants fans, a lack of 8.5 wins.
Under. Your boy Brian Dable is going to prove why he should not have won Coach of the Year last year.
Still mad about that, aren't you? Still mad about that, aren't you? Look at that.
Absolutely. It was a horrible job by the media and you.
Facts get away feelings, buddy. Sorry.
Yeah, my don't care about your feelings. Exactly. There's no way he should have won that award.
Who won the award?
What, you're trying to tell me that the media gets it right all the time? Huh?
No, I know. Moving on. New York Jets, 9.5 wins, buddy.
Oh God, that's hard. That's what she said.
She did say that.
I'm going to say over, but in a world where Aaron Charles Rodgers is as old as he is and lacks that kind of protection, there's a fair defense to say under.
Mm-hmm.
And they are playing in an AFC conference rather that's damn difficult. So yeah, that's a tough division too.
Mm-hmm. Sure is. That conference in general is tough. Speaking of tough, the Philadelphia Eagles, NFC champions, 10.5 wins.
Over, absolutely over. And Jalen Hurts will probably have to suffer an injury for me to feel scared about that.
Yeah.
Oh, but they turned over the defensive tackles and their linebackers. First of all, they didn't turn them over. The guys retired. Okay, it's not like they were bad. They just got old. It's a thing.
There you go.
And they retooled by bringing in George's defense. I'm okay with all of the above, folks.
All right, Pittsburgh Steelers, 8.5 wins.
Over. The fact that people are sleeping on Kenny Pickett as much as they are, the fact that people are forgetting, I don't feel good about the Pitt defense. Really? You forgot about Mika Fitzpatrick and TJ Watt already? Cool.
This is my spoiler of the AFC actually, because I think they get the playoffs.
I
got them as the 5 seed, in fact, not just in the wild card, but also as the 5 seed, because I think their schedule breaks well for them as well.
And the only reason they're getting kept out is because the Bengals, I'm willing to bet.
Right. But the schedule breaks well for them too this year. So
fascinating. So what you're telling me is they might be in a good position to supplant a 4 seed at their house. That's fascinating.
All right. Speaking of fanboys, your Niners, 11.5 wins.
11.5 is what it's at. Under. I don't think they get to 12. I think there's enough unrest. I think there's enough not calamity. I think there's enough change to make a 12-win season difficult. And not to mention, inevitably at some point, a number of players miss time, with the Niners. I get that Kyle Shanahan is the quarterback whisperer, but at day's end, that's a tough sell for me to think they get to 12.
Yeah, I actually agree with you on that one too. Seahawks, 8.5 wins.
Over. I have them going 9 or 10.
Okay.
I think the Niners and Seahawks will duke it out in glorious fashion for that West Division. I think that Pete Carroll shows how big a douche he is for waiting until Russ is gone to get good tackles.
Yeah. All right.
I said EJ Christian.
All right. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 6.5.
Under. Baker Mayfield is what you got, and if that fails, it's Kyle Trask. I shouldn't need to say anything else.
So I have a sneaky suspicion that they're going to get about 7 wins this year.
Oh, you think they might get frisky, huh?
A little frisky. Not a playoff team, obviously, but they may flirt with that late in the year, and then they'll fade out late. But they got enough playmakers on the team to – if Baker can don't fall off the wagon, you can still got Mike Evans and a couple of play.
They don't have the defense that they used to, though. That's
yeah, right. Well, that's the reason they won't get the playoffs. But look, here's the thing: they also play. Hold on 1 second. This thing will load up real quick. Their schedule, though.
Here we go.
NFC North, AFC South. Just saying, you can probably pluck some wins out of there, and if you get lucky, you get into that 6.5 range.
You might pluck a win from the Colts. I see a lot of teams, not the Saints, going 3-1. Sorry, 1-3 against the South.
Right.
So, yeah, no, that's not a gimme, EJ Christian. You make the point about teams getting better in the AFC East. Bruh, can we talk about the AFC South, all 4 teams getting better in some fashion? But, Kyle, the Colts are down this year. I get that. But they actually took the step to not have a geriatric quarterback at the helm. That's a long-term win.
This is the first real good move at this position since Andrew Luck retired. I agree with that.
Yeah.
All right. Tennessee Titans, 7.5 wins. It's tough, right? I know, right.
Well, no, here's what's tough, because I just dropped my preview both on the student game and the 3-point conversion. Bing! And I predict an under because I have them at 7 wins. But if I'm betting it, I'm going to bet the over, because whenever I'm down on the Titans, they decide to do well. And listen, joking aside, the jokes I make about there being a race car engine in the form of DeAndre Hopkins with a Pinto of a car that is that offense. People are trying to sell me Ryan Tannehill, and I have proven time and again, even going back to my writings with the Dolphins wire in 18 and 19, bing, that Tannehill needs protection to succeed. And he will not be protected. Ergo, they will not succeed. And I see Derrick Henry missing time, too. But he's only been injured once. He got injured pretty significantly, and he's older, right?
Yeah.
Is he 30? I forget, but he's, that's
getting close to it. I don't know if he's 30 yet, but he's getting damn close to it, though. And finally, Washington Commanders, 7.5.
Under. I don't understand the confidence in this team. I get it. It's Eric Bieniemy. You know what?
And they're frisky, too.
No, stop.
Not frisky. Not frisky. Frisky.
This team is worse than last year.
They won last year, and they shouldn't have been as good as they were.
This team is worse than last year. So what you just said is a better team.
I agree. They're under.
Oh, then what are we arguing about?
I'm gonna say they're always frisky. They're hard out. That's what I'm saying.
Because of that defensive line,
right.
Sure. But at the end of the day, you got worse at quarterback, and I don't care if Eric Bieniemy is there. You can't spell Howell without 2 L's. Okay, there you go.
That was good.
You like that?
Oh my god, that was good. What else here? We can talk about real quick. I don't know if you mentioned it in there, but give me some sleeper teams in the NFL.
Well, we did mention the Steelers. That people are sleeping on them real bad. I think the Panthers are going to be better than a lot of people think. The biggest problem, if Bryce Young goes 17 games, that could be a playoff team, Earnest Christian. Which is, that's kind of like saying, a playoff team in the East for the NBA, whatever. But
he's been better as of late.
Okay, but they're still relatively trash. The punchline's this, buddy.
Trash
I'll say this: the AFC NFC gap is bigger than the East West gap in the NBA.
Without question. But
if you're going back to earlier in the century there. Anyways,
yeah.
And yet these morons in the NBA wanted to do this play-in trash, which is absolutely stupid.
Whoa! You're not a fan of play-in?
It's awful. Why are losing?
Can we save that for
teams given an opportunity? And we can do another pod.
No. I do want to, because I want to add to the student game report also throughout the year.
Ooh, look at this.
Add other segments on outside segments also too. When we get to the NBA, I want you to make your case why the play-in is a bad idea. Because I'm a fan of play-in, and it took me a while to actually to buy into it. But I actually do like the play-in for good reasons. But we'll save it for another podcast. I'm going to put it file for content.
Okay.
File for content.
Yeah, and maybe we'll actually do that pod.
We did it like 2 months ago. We're talking about relax.
The file for content, really?
Well, we did it's me, you, and Jim. Whenever you and Jim get together, it's file content. I don't have to label file content.
All I hear is you throwing Jim under the bus.
So what? He deserves it. Fuck him.
Oh no!
Love you, buddy. Let's talk college football.
Yes. Wow, what a weekend. Oh my God.
Deion Sanders. Let's go there first.
Yes. Deion Sanders Claus came to town. Holy snikey.
I posted yesterday on social media because I know there's a lot of takes on Deion with people have a lot of opinions on Deion through the years. And I'll say it again. I get people not liking his approach to things. I totally get that. You make it uncomfortable for whatever reason. But this is why it has never bothered me. This is why I respect the shit out of him. He's been the same
guy. The fact that he went to your school, right?
Well, of course. You're damn right. Seminoles, baby. He's been the same guy since high school, since college, through the pros, in media, and now as a head coach. Deion Sanders, the same rhetoric he's spewing out as a head coach in Colorado, he was the same way as a player, the same way in media, the same way. And to me, he is as authentic a guy, like a Charles Barkley, for example. Same guy, Charles Barkley, same guy, right? Right or wrong? Charles Barkley, the same guy he was.
No, I'm not laughing at you out of a spite or anything. I've never. It's man. Listen, that's a comparison I've never heard made, and I laugh for appreciation.
I'm not saying they're the same guy. I'm saying they're the same authentic person. They've never changed.
Exactly. It's
never changed.
Dude, I'm trying to prop you, and you're like, no. It's good. That's why it's funny, buddy.
So I get people be uncomfortable with Deion the way he is, but this is who he is. And
I mean, yeah, that's the part I don't get is how did you not see this coming? Like, read the room, bitches, right?
Yeah.
Anyways,
But I mean, look, I can see people saying that it's a little too much overvalued. The first win, oh my God, one win.
No. Okay, full stop. We're going to address this. Okay,
there's
too many hater asses out there. Well, TCU wasn't as good as they were last year. I don't give a damn. Now, the only argument I will accept that's an actual well-thought-out, non-hater-based argument, looking at you, Jim Neese, hashtag I said it.
Oh, Big Jim. Oh, look at you, buddy. In the camera. Video scope, baby.
There you go. Okay.
I was Macho Man.
You're loud. I'm trying to make a take here.
I was doing Macho Man.
Let me tell you this, brother.
Look in the video scope.
You need to be a little bit more John Cena in this part of the segment. I can't see you. Anyway, the best defense that can be made, and as I joke about Jim being a hater, he's right on this standpoint. One game does not a season make. Let's take a breath. Okay. Everyone's all be like, "Oh, he should get an NFL job." Jesus H. Christ, people. Okay, no, but to think of this win as anything other than amazing on national television against a preseason ranked team. Yeah, I know they don't matter allegedly, but here's the thing. 3-point underdogs. Excuse me, 3 touchdown underdogs. Winning by 3 points instead. Deion Sanders. Here's the part that people just don't seem to get. You went and took a dump on this dude's son, saying he wasn't talented and that it was nepotism that he was starting, which you've simultaneously done, is not only question the quarterback and choice that Coach Prime made, you're questioning Coach Prime's integrity.
Yeah.
And of course he's not going to take well to that, you morons. What's wrong with you people? A dude who gives emotional, genuine, we'll use your word, EJ, authentic responses. Gave one because you said he was a nepotist and you said that his son sucks. And you wonder why he went off on you. Not to mention, well, the reporter was just trying to ask a question. He didn't go after that reporter except for one reason. That reporter turned themselves into an analyst and went after dude's son. And you wonder why. People. And maybe that particular reporter wasn't one of the ones who was critical. I'm getting mixed. When I researched that, I'm getting mixed results on whether that's true. If it was, I've made my point. If it wasn't, listen, I've had my question turned into a platform question before myself by more than one coach. Granted, it didn't make national news because I was at UCF, which was still a G5 school back then when it happened. But Coach Frost and Coach Heupel both turned my question into a national statement, right? That's what they do sometimes. Media people need to remember they are a tool through which they communicate to the fans. No, I not tool like you, EJ. It's a little different. But they are a device through which they communicate to the fans. And Deion is telling the fans, I tried to tell you, but you wouldn't listen. And anybody who has a problem with that is just doing it wrong and forgetting that college football is entertainment. Period. Point blank in the story.
Did we forget that this school went 1-11 last year? 1-11. It's not like they were bad. They were dreadful.
Yeah. Yeah. And my question was, who was the one? I've looked that up before and be like, wow,
Yeah. I mean, they've already matched last year's win total. Let's start there.
And they were to only win 4 games. Well, they're 25% there now, bitches.
Yep, 1 weekend. And yeah, TCU is not the same team anymore. Even if TCU is not the same team anymore as last year, they're still a clearly better team in Colorado.
Right.
So stop.
Well, or at least we thought. Maybe, just maybe, we were wrong where we put Colorado in the rankings. Maybe Colorado should have been top 25 preseason, but nobody was brave enough. I sure as hell wasn't. But I went out here to tell you that they were. I believe. Oh no, I wasn't brave enough to say they would cover, but I think I made a reference to it on the Huddle Up podcast last week. Bing, that if they did, it would be an achievement. Okay, well they did.
That's why I only lost a week actually. On our pick'ems. Apparently, I found out.
Yeah, you've done a real good job throwing stuff at the dartboard. Maybe you should actually bet money for once instead of losing every fucking week.
I almost, funny. I almost bet that game on Saturday too.
Was nothing. Your irresponsibility is ruining.
You got big mad in the chat. I saw. I read the chat a day later.
This big mad bullshit. I told you I don't know that I understand all of it. That's all that happened. Like that didn't track for me at first. You don't know what big mad is.
I know. You're 7'5". Trust me. I think I have an idea what big mad is.
Not really. Well, no. How would you? You've never seen me in person.
Oh, shut up with that already. Besides Deion, obviously that's the story of the weekend.
Yeah.
What else?
Rightly so. See what I did there?
Yes. Florida State. That's a
huge
win. That's a huge win.
Huge. But yeah, and for saying it was the biggest win of the weekend, apparently I'm a Seminole fan now, EJ. I don't know if you saw that on the Facebooks there.
No, really?
Yeah. I'm not going to identify who it was, but you know.
Oh, someone we know.
Yeah. I thought I tagged you in my declaration of my no. Well, you could check it off here, but the punchline is the reason why that FSU win is so huge is because Clemson did what it did against Duke. And the only other big game FSU has on the schedule is Clemson. Unless somehow Florida comes back from the depths, which I seriously doubt. No offense to my guy, Billy Napier, but as much as I'd like to see him do well, there's a good chance he's coaching back in the G5 again this time next year. Punchline's this. FSU securing that win, if they do in fact win out in a mediocre ACC, which means they'll probably have to beat Clemson in a rematch. But hey, you never know at this point, right? To see what if FSU pulls that off, they'll be in the conversation, and they're going to need help because Clemson not being prominent is going to be a problem if they're trying to campaign against other teams.
As I texted you and Jim this morning, I woke up, like I was kind of torn because for last night's game with Clemson and Duke, because on one hand, Clemson being good helps Florida State when they play in a couple weeks, and if Florida State wins that game, and they say LSU is good this year, that helps their strength schedule case for the playoff.
Here's what you need. Okay, you need LSU to beat Alabama.
Of course, absolutely, without question. But Clemson, losing last night, and not only losing, they got their asses kicked. 3 touchdowns. That's ass kicking.
I mean, but people want to tell why are you so critical of the ACC? Can't imagine.
Yeah.
But I will say this: going back to FSU, what impresses me isn't so much Jordan Travis. Jordan Travis is great, although he did look significantly better. It's amazing what an offseason could do.
Yeah.
And he was even better than when I watched him beat a 6-7 Oklahoma team and was like meh about it.
Yeah.
But that defensive front, getting push against an SEC O-line. Oh, mercy. What a time.
I was getting
and Wilson at receiver being 6'7".
Yep.
Damn. You got a lot going for you, EJ Christian.
Yes, I'm very happy. But they need obviously stay the course, of course. Clemson being that bad last night was a little shock, though. That's a shock.
I'll agree, but again, it's also week 1. They could turn that around. Same thing to Brian Kelly and LSU. They could have just had that game was competitive for the first half, and then certain people who decided to pick LSU then started to talk trash on Brian Kelly. Then later on Twitter, something about not winning big games, even though they beat Alabama last year. It's a whole weird thing.
Yeah.
Where people can't make up their minds. And, even though that they won a lot of games for Notre Dame, there's certain people who still want to try to be critical of Brian Kelly in a way that just doesn't make any damn sense to me. But yeah, Not mentioning any names, but I'm going to try to be nice about it and not identify anybody in particular.
One last thing. Any other thing that stuck out this weekend?
God. Was it who lost? Was it Texas Tech that lost to Wyoming? Oh God.
They did?
Yes. Shit. Wyoming won a football game, buddy.
Wow.
Like, I mean, come on, man.
The only thing I've heard really this weekend that I didn't see the game, but the one thing I heard that's kind of significant a little bit based on the analysis of it is that Ohio State's quarterback situation don't look that good.
That's not necessarily a surprise.
Okay.
I didn't think it was going to go this bad, which is going to make my prediction of 2 Big Ten teams in the top 4 questionable, which is helpful to your Knowles.
Of course.
I mean, as much as I find the chop annoying, get used to it, folks. I think the Knowles are going to do something.
We shall see. Anything on the docket? I think we can save this stuff for the next stuff here for later because I think I got a hard out here in a couple minutes. She said that. She did.
Honor, joy, and privilege, EJ Christian. Of course, this is Kyle Nash, student of the game. Find me on Twitter at the SOTG. Find me on Instagram as the same, the SOTG. Find me on Facebook as the student of the game. By the way, if you're one of the cool kids who has threads, I'm on there as well, the SOTG. Check out my writings with the 3-point conversion, including my AFC South preview. Of course, my writings on the Jaguar report will be a thing that you will see here in the not too distant future. I have some action in the past here. If you want to look at some of the stuff preseason on the Jaguar report of SI. Also, EJ Christian, I don't know that you know about this yet, but Fridays at 11, the stream begins. The Duval Dive. That's right. Travis Holmes and Travis Holmes of Big Cat Country and myself do a weekly 30 minutes on the Jaguars. Of course, last week we went through the schedule week by week to give a little preview of what we thought the Jags would do. He seems to be on the 13-win bandwagon too. I don't get that, but hey, hashtag.
I mean, again, and so he's seeing what I'm seeing now with the schedule. That number 1 seed. He's seeing what I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but he's seeing what I'm seeing. I ain't the only one.
Yeah, both matching Peter King. Good luck with that, folks. Of course, the Student of the Game podcast as well, 8:40 p.m. Eastern, on Huddle Up YouTube page, on the Sertoba Media YouTube page, where the struggle is real to be awesome. My Twitter, Twitch, the SOTG, Facebook page, A7BN Facebook page as well. Wherever you get it on the streams, same applies to the Duval Dive there as well on that. See, we went over the writings. Oh, of course, don't forget the writings with the Black and Gold Banneret covering UCF football action from there. They'll be in Boise this week, so that'll be fun. Mm-hmm. And of course, my work with the Black and Gold Banneret on the Night Shift podcast. Ernest Christian, there you go.
As always, every week, every Tuesday on this feed, man. So doing a report, we're back and rolling, man. Can't wait next week.
Look out, 8:40 this week, the simulcast Huddle Up podcast. And
that's right.
I forgot. Yeah, Tuesday nights Huddle Up podcast at 8:30 Eastern. I will not be on this week, but moving forward after the simulcast, look out.
Oh, so you won't see my first power rankings. Interesting.
I think we're all better for that. No, listen, the trends.
Do you want to see them now before we go out of here?
We do not have enough time for that.
You want to get a little heart attack before we go?
Listen, I got a heart out here. Honor, joy, and privilege, EJ Christian. Honor, joy, and privilege. Honor, joy, and privilege, EJ Christian. But until next time, my friend, class dismissed.